A concise description of Cross Reverie is provided, and Takuma Sakamoto presents himself along with his MMO character Diablo as the true demon lord within the game. Suddenly, he is transported to a different world in the role of his MMO character, and his summoners promptly kiss him on both cheeks. Surprised by his situation, Diablo's summoners, an elf and a Pantherian, argue over who was responsible for his summoning. Each believes they acted as the sole summoner, having adhered to the ritual guidelines that included the kiss. Once he discovers this, Diablo is left amazed that he received kisses and regrets not savoring the moment more. As the two summoners persist in their dispute over who brought Diablo forth, they inadvertently inform the inquisitive Diablo that he is situated atop a towering structure known as the Starfall Tower. Approaching the arguing women, Diablo realizes that he has never truly communicated with anyone throughout his life, placing him in a challenging situation. Consequently, Diablo resolves to embody his MMO character and speaks to the two in a condescending tone, commanding them to shake hands and smile. Although they are initially reluctant, an overwhelming force compels the two to comply with Diablo's directive. After this command is carried out, slave collars materialize around the necks of both summoners, leaving all three of them in disbelief. At the base of the tower, the group discusses the unsuccessful ritual. During the conversation, Diablo recognizes that his Demon Lord ring reflected the enslavement spell back onto those who attempted to enslave him. Explaining to his summoners that magic holds no sway over him, they set off toward the nearby town to lift the enslavement spell affecting them. The elf, acknowledging that she and her companion have yet to introduce themselves to Diablo, names herself Shara L. Greenwood, an aspiring adventurer. Her partner, the Pantherian, identifies herself as Rem Gallo, who seeks to sharpen her skills as an adventurer. As Diablo is categorized as a rare summoned entity, he dismisses the label, not wanting to unveil his status as a recluse, and asserts that he is a demon lord. Shara is taken aback and impressed to learn that she summoned a demon lord, which irritates Rem, igniting yet another clash between the two. Diablo interrupts them with a sharp retort. Reaching their destination of Faltra City, they check in at the Peace of Mind Inn, where they are welcomed by the cheerful innkeeper May. Feeling nauseous from being in what he deems a large crowd, Diablo is further taken aback when Shara expresses her desire to register a room that's shared with him. This is primarily due to their financial constraints, and Rem interjects, urging that Diablo stay in her room since she is the one who summoned him. A disagreement arises between the two, and they are interrupted by May, who threatens to evict them. It is then disclosed that the three of them will occupy a room with one bed. Pondering his situation regarding the single bed, a woman familiar to Rem, named Celestine Baudelaire, and her two companions enter the room. Diablo remembers her name, and Shara explains that Celestine is the leader of the Mages Association. Recalling that Celestine, or Celes as she prefers to be called, is a key character in the Cross Reverie game, Celes originally intended to converse with Rem, but upon noticing the slave collars on both Rem and Shara's necks, as well as Diablo's presence, she expresses her intrigue about their circumstances. That night at the inn's cafeteria, Celes is updated on everything pertaining to the unsuccessful enslavement ritual. She's also informed that Diablo cannot undo the enslavement placed upon them. After Celes realizes she will need to start her research from scratch to find a way to remove the slave collars around Shara and Rem's necks, Diablo questions her assertively about her intentions with them, which provokes a reprimand from one of her followers named Galuk. Although Diablo feels intimidated by Galuk internally, he responds with a menacing retort, which annoys Galuk and earns him a reprimand from Celes as well. The conversation then shifts briefly to Celes and Rem, who declines the offer of additional bodyguards despite Celes's good intentions. With that matter settled, Celes's group departs for the evening, and Diablo inquires of Rem about her association with Celes. Rem declines to discuss it, leading Diablo to have a realization that Rem's secret is tied to a crucial main story event, which should be learned in advance to prevent a disaster. Seizing Rem and hoisting her onto his shoulder, Diablo takes her back to their room to torture her. Back in their room, Diablo torments Rem in a playful and innocent way until she ultimately admits her secret to him. Rem discloses that she has the Demon Lord Krebsholm sealed inside her body, and Diablo remembers the Demon Lord as the most formidable boss in the game, indicating that she desires to free and eradicate Krebsholm's soul from her body. Diablo then explains that doing so would result in Rem's death in the process. Moreover, he infers that Rem's relationship with Celes is linked to this ambition of hers, and that Celes is the only one aware of Rem's situation. The sealing of the Demon Lord is also hereditary, since Rem's mother had Krebsholm sealed within her body before passing away. Fully conscious of Rem's situation, Diablo pledges to assist Rem, which makes her emotional as Diablo promises not to abandon her due to her condition. Afterward, Diablo embarks on a trip around the town while pondering how he has accomplished everything all by himself due to his nature. Eventually, he is approached by Galuk and his colleagues from the Mages Association. This results in a confrontation between Diablo and Galuk, who summons a level 30 salamander. While Galuk brags and threatens Diablo regarding his summon, Diablo observes that although it is impressive, its level is far too weak. The salamander then releases a burst of fire at Diablo, who emerges from it unharmed. In a state of panic, Galuk commands his summon to incinerate Diablo, and the salamander unleashes a massive flamethrower-like attack from its mouth. However, that attack continues to have no effect on the level 150 Diablo. Equipping his wand, Diablo then casts Explosion, which obliterates the salamander. Approaching the bewildered Galuk, who demands to know who Diablo is, Diablo responds that he is a Diablo, a demon lord from another world. Awakening in the Peace of Mind Inn, Diablo comes to the realization that his experiences from the day before were not merely a dream. Diablo then finds himself in an uncomfortable position in bed with the two women. Later that day, while strolling through the streets, Diablo observes the various races that inhabit the world. He notes that in the area they are walking, no humans can be seen, to which Rem responds that the district they are in is exclusively for demi-humans, and then inquires if levels serve as the primary measure of strength in this world. Shara affirms this, but admits she has not yet discovered her level, while Rem asserts that she is a level 40 summoner. The place they are currently headed to, the Adventurers Guild, should be capable of revealing Shara's level once she registers there. At the Adventurers Guild, a confrontation between two beastmen unfolds, and the overall environment makes Diablo anxious. Without wasting any time, the trio makes their way to the second floor to register as adventurers. Since he cannot read, Diablo has Shara complete his registration, stating that he detests tedious and insignificant tasks, while Shara relishes the idea as it strengthens her position as his true master. However, the situation becomes more complex when a blood seal is required as the final step. Although feeling nervous about this, Diablo maintains a brave demeanor and, as he sees it, makes a slight cut on his thumb. Conversely, his small cut ends up being deeper than he had expected. Next, the group stands in front of a mirror that evaluates their levels. Shara discovers she is level 30, much to her disappointment, and then Diablo steps up, prompting a chaotic reaction from the mirror. This outburst draws the attention of the guild master Sylvie, who invites the trio into her office. Inside the office, Sylvie explains that due to Diablo's high level, there are no available job requests for him. However, Diablo expresses his willingness to work simply for the rewards. Consequently, Sylvie assigns the group the task of subjugating a Madara snake in the man-eating woods. On their way to the woods, the group discusses the job they've been assigned and the belief that its requester was Celis from the Mages Association. The conversation then shifts to Diablo suggesting they should have utilized a teleport spell or item to reach their location, although he notes that no such options exist. Finally arriving at the man-eating woods, Diablo observes the grim appearance of the woods in comparison to the game. Just at that moment, Shara explains that they are encircled, prompting Diablo to cast Burst Rain, igniting a portion of the woods and forcing the ambushers to reveal themselves. The ambushers turned out to be elves, one of whom Shara recognized as Celsior, who asserts he is there to save her. Celsior aims his bow and arrow at Diablo, while insisting he free Shara, the princess of the Kingdom of Greenwood. Asking why the elves would request assistance at the Adventurers Guild through the Mages Association. This leads Diablo to deduce that only one individual could have arranged this situation. Shara expresses her feelings, stating she does not wish to marry her brother and have his child. A back-and-forth argument ensues between Shara and Celsior, prompting Diablo to retaliate against the elves, who shoot a volley of arrows at him, but they prove ineffective. Celsior then employs what is known as a Tempest Arrow and directs it at Diablo, but that too fails to affect him. Unimpressed by the elves' antics, Diablo casts Freesia, freezing the surrounding area in ice. Suddenly, Galuk appears and admonishes the elves, only to be scolded by Diablo and chastised by Rem. Upset, Galuk flees the situation, and Shara commands the elves to tell her brother that she will never return home. With their business concluded at that location, they head back to the inn. That evening in their room at the inn, Shara and Diablo share a heartfelt conversation that is interrupted by an angry Rem.